Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Mallory West, and this is a KNOE streaming special. I am joined now with Trooper Ryan Davis from Louisiana State Police. How are you doing today?
Doing well.
Good, and you are here to talk about the winter weather that we have coming up this weekend, especially when it comes to driving in that winter weather.
Yes, ma'am. So over the last 6 years or so, we've had a couple instances of very heavy winter precipitation that stayed. And the forecasted weather for this weekend is very consistent with that. So we're expecting a measurable amount of rainfall or snow or ice, whatever happens, but we do expect it to stay through the beginning of next week. So we want to inform your listeners and our motoring public to take some extra precaution while they're driving on the roadway this weekend and the beginning of next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen weather like this in our area before. I think the last time we got pretty icy weather was in 2022 or 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm sure you guys have been, preparing for something like this and preparing for what we could see this weekend.
Correct. One thing you'll notice, a lot of times if a stranded motorist has to leave their vehicle on the side of the road, the law allows them under normal conditions to leave that for 24 hours. And you've probably seen the red stickers on the back left corner of the rear windshield. And what that is a notice to those owner operators that, hey, you have 24 hours to remove this. When we have inclement weather coming, those rules change a little bit, because with vehicles traveling on potentially icy roads that are slippery, the shoulders are a place to pull over if you do have an issue, but we don't want, if a vehicle begins to slide, to strike one of those vehicles. So one of the things we're doing to prepare is to remove those vehicles as quickly as we can before this downfall comes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then us Louisianians, we obviously are not used to driving in icy road conditions. So do you have any tips or recommendations that you would like to give to drivers that may have to get out this weekend, that maybe are necessary workers, that have to get to work, maybe need to run to a grocery store to get last minute items? Do you have any recommendations for people that are doing that?
Definitely. First and foremost, if you don't have to get out, don't. History has proven in our area that we do have the capacity to get shut down for a number of days, and in previous instances of accumulated ice and snow on the roadways, we were very busy. We were very busy with vehicles becoming stuck, stranded, and then of course wrecking. If you do find yourself having to leave the house to check loved ones, get last minute supplies, or if you're going to work, I would remind our motorists to remember, when the temperature drops, your air pressure in your tires will drop as well. So check your air pressure in your vehicle, your tires for your vehicle before you leave. This is a time we don't want to leave the house on a quarter tank of gas. Fill up tonight or tomorrow during the day. Make sure you have all the fuel you'll need to make your commute, and plan for the worst. So pack water, additional warm clothing in your vehicle for the chance that you do become stranded for an hour or so. Depending on road conditions, it could take that long for a trooper or another first responder to reach you. And then always our cell phones, we're all very vested in our cell phones, playing games, watching reels, texting. Make sure you leave the house with a fully charged cell phone. If you do expect to be on the roadway, the worst thing that could happen is you become stranded and not be able to reach aid. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, that can be a very scary thing for people, coming up this weekend, but that's why it's, only go out if necessary.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with the weather that we could be seeing this weekend, we could also be seeing things like power outages, things like that. Is that something that people can contact you about, or do they need to reach out to maybe Entergy, 911?
Right.
When is the right time to call those numbers, basically?
So a power outage would be 911, or if you have a gas outage, Atmos is one of the predominant gas providers in our area. I'm sure there are others. If you come across a fallen tree, which is something that happens often, the ground becomes saturated. Over time, we've had rain the last couple of days and expect to continue to have rain. And then if we have freezing rain that accumulates the top of those trees, it's extra weight. So during these seasons, we do expect trees to fall. If you come across one that's blocking the roadway, call 911. They will be able to properly dispatch the agency or the resources that are nearest that condition to be able to respond correctly. If you do have an emergency or involved in a crash, or if you need to report something unsafe, 911 would be the where you need to call.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you said that you're going to be extra vigilant this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. So we do, our captain has assigned additional resources. We're going to be running double shifts in expectation for closures. What that means is we're going to have additional troopers out providing aid. A lot of times if we do have a power outage, we may be directing traffic, or we'll get out there and cut up trees too, just to ensure that our motoring public, those who have to get out, can do so safely.
Absolutely. And is there anything else that you would like to add that you would like our community to know about Louisiana State Police or about the wintry weather that we expect to see this weekend?
So in Louisiana, we're a party state, right?
Yes.
All ball games, crawfish season, Mardi Gras coming up. Hurricanes, what happens when we have hurricanes? People get together and have hurricane parties. So I assume and expect people to have winter weather parties, and a lot of parties in our area that involves the consumption of alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
So if you drink, don't drive. When you do get in your vehicles, again, ensure that your tire pressure is correct,
Yes.
full tank of gas, always wear your seatbelt. It's one of the main things you can do to protect yourself in the event of a crash. And when you leave the house and you expect to travel a distance, notify your loved ones when you're leaving, your expected ETA. So if you do become stranded and cell phone dies, whatever the case, they'll have a time stamp and expected travel path for you so they can get that to the proper authorities.
Absolutely. And then if you are driving this weekend, be sure to leave early as well. I'm sure we're going to have to drive extra slow on those roads.
Yeah, following distances need to increase, not only during icy weather, but during wet weather. That's something that we don't do good as citizens of Louisiana. We're always in a hurry. Allow yourself the proper amount of time. If you do hit a patch of ice or standing water and you begin to hydroplane, the worst thing you can do is slam on your brakes. You always want to steer against the rotation. So if you're rotating to the right, you want to steer to the left. Smooth, easy braking. Either get off the throttle or just maintain your wheel speed.
Absolutely. And is there anything else that you think we may need to cover or reiterate before we go?
So this is probably the fourth time I've said this. Stay home if you can. If you do have to travel, wear your seatbelt, don't drink and drive, and let's be safe this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with me, Trooper Davis, and then be sure to stay up to date with everything with this wintry weather that we have coming in this weekend. As we get closer to this weekend, those forecasts are obviously updating, becoming more accurate, so we know how hard we're going to be impacted. We're getting to that point where we know where that freezing line is going to sit as well. So you may be getting snow, you may be getting freezing rain, you may be getting just plain rain. It really just depends on how those temperatures are performing. And again, you can keep up with all of that on our website, knoe.com, and on our news app and our weather app, so be sure to download those as well. But for now, that is all I have. Thank you so much, again, Trooper Davis, for being here with me, and thank you guys for being here with me as well.